Well, everybody, welcome back to Garage Tuning. Where today we're working on the China bike. We're gonna fix this girl. We're gonna fix it. If you caught the last video where we were working on old China girl here, you'll know that these bars in the skid plate didn't fit. Like, it's on there. It took a lot of massaging, a little bit of cussing, and a whole lot more patience than I had to offer, but it is on there. A quick Google search showed I'm not the only one. Apparently a lot of people struggled putting these on. Apparently they don't fit anybody's bike. So in today's video, we're hopefully gonna be addressing the fitment and fixing that and making it work better. The hardware that they sent along with all of that was terrible. Like, it wants to strip out the first time putting it in. I went ahead and ordered some actual grade 8 zinc coated bolts. Went off the amount on here and I ordered some hardware. So we got an 8 mil 125 by 25, two 6 mil 1 by 35s, 6 of these guys 8 125 by 35, and then 2 more 8 125 by 16s. So in today's video, not only are we going to be trying to fix the fitment of all that garbage, we're also just going to take it apart. Seeing how we got to take partial of it apart anyway, I figured why not? Let's just we'll start ripping things apart. Let's really figure out the build quality of the old Chinese bike. Is it are we talking Temu level build quality, or is it like name brand Amazon level of build quality? I think I'm actually going to start by moving the Daytona over there, put it on the old battery tickler, and let her charge up a little bit. So I'll be right back. Now we got much more room to work on the old China bike. I think first things first, we're going to go ahead and pull all of the guards off, and then we'll start tearing it a little bit more. But I want to pull all this thing apart, kind of pay attention how and what hardware goes which and where, so we know where it goes back together, right? Right, we want to know where it goes back together. You see how I pulled out one bolt and how this hole is no longer lined up at all? I really got to push up on that to get that aligned. That's about how this whole thing went. None of this lined up at all. I think the order to do all this in is probably going to be take the top bars off, the bottom bar off, and then the skid plate off, in that order. I think that's what's going to work out the best overall here. So the medium length bolt is the one that goes up in here. All right, I want to point something out to you. We got the lower guard off on this side, and if you can see, let's see if we come down here. You see that hole there? Look how much just absolute slop there is in that hole. Like, they built these with the intentions in mind that, like, you could have some things out of spec and have plenty of room to still get a bolt through. But even with all of that play and shimmy in there, I had to kind of pry and bend and do a lot of finagling to get this whole thing to go together. Well, we're off to a real great start. This guy right here is strippy. Hopefully this just comes right on off of there. Hey, we're free. Look at that. Oh yeah. Man, I don't know if you noticed, but that bolt drilled out very easily. They're hot, ow. Luckily that wasn't too big of a deal. Now I just gotta get it out with a pair of pliers. Easy. Come on, you gotta be there now. Oh, there we go. Got that out of there. Man, dude, look how much just the pliers on that, the threads are gone. Dude, this hardware is junk. Yeah, we're gonna take this hardware here and just, I don't want to accidentally put that in something else later and be pissed when it breaks. Well, I spoke too soon. We stripped another one. Friggin' junk. I've lost patience. This hardware here, junk. Luckily, we can always count on the old Milwaukee's to save the day. Well, that was easy. There we go. She's free of all the BS that came with the bars. I want to point out that at least these bolts here that were in the skid plate, these like weird silverish bolts, on the head of these, they claim to be grade 10-9. That drilled out super quick and easy, and it also stripped out just as easy. So I don't know what the grading system is over in China, but I don't think that's grade 10. Now, why don't we figure out how to get the side panels off so we can actually put some coolant in the bike, and then, all right, so it took me a little while to figure this whole thing out. We got the side panel off on this side. I'm gonna show you on this side that if you look on here, you've got, let's see here. If you look here, you got 1 bolt, 2 bolt, 3 bolts right there. You would think after taking those out that it would just come out. It in fact does not. This one's sneaky. See, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. There is an a Phillips screw tucked up in here, as well as down on the inside of here, there's like 3 other Phillips screws that are also holding the side panel on. We got this side off, we got the reservoir exposed over here. I went ahead, topped that off. It's now perfectly in the halfway mark. Really looking at this thing, I was gonna like try and take this other panel off of here and really dig down in there. There's nothing under here. Like this, the fuel tank is up here and this is just plastic. But like looking down up underneath it here, underneath this is just hollow. And there's like some gas tank down in there, but there's nothing here. Like this whole thing is pretty much kind of hollow. A lot of it, I think, is just for looks. They put the gas tank on there, and then they put this little piece of plastic on the side here to try and, you know, make the body lines look good from what it looks like. You know, now that it's a little bit apart, and I'm like looking up on the other side, I think that might be the ECU up there, as well as like, well, what's that called? Oh, the charcoal filter. The charcoal filter, in case, you know, you tip the bike over, it's supposed to soak gas up. Emissions, you know, all saving all the how dare yous. Being that all of these are Allens and most of them are self-tappers, the more you run them in and out, the more likely you are to strip them out. So we're gonna not tear that apart until we actually have to, if that situation ever arises. We're gonna put this on real quick. I'll tell you how to take it off, or how to, well, I'm gonna tell you how to put it on, but then from that, you should be able to learn how to take it off. If you don't know how to take it off, maybe you shouldn't. Watch what I do the opposite, and then if you have a hard time putting them back together, just watch what I do and put it back together that way. Right? Right? Makes sense to me. On top of this panel here is your blinker attached, obviously, right? You got your little blinky blink there. This little connector here is up top by the headlight up here. Now, there's a little white tab on there. Most times you push on the tab and pull the plug out. This is completely opposite. Remember, China. You gotta pull the white tab and then pull the plug out. So you gotta pull the tab away from this little guy here, and then you can pull the plug out. It was, why is the plug different? Okay, a little WD-40 on this rag. I'm gonna just kind of lube up the rubber grommets so all this goes together a little smoothly, because there's a lot of these. There is a lot of these. Slowly work my way around the panel like that. See, just that easy. Just kind of, you know, just start up here, kind of work your way around. When you're taking it off, start down here, just kind of slowly work your way around. If it's not going, don't force it. Remember that, don't force it. There might be a screw somewhere. Like I said, there's gonna be one Phillips screw up under here, underneath the gray. It's a real pain. I don't know how I'm gonna get the thing back in there. You're gonna want yourself a little stubby Phillips when you're doing this, because there's not a lot of room. So with these self-tappers, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put the screw in the hole. You're gonna slowly turn it backwards, and you're gonna feel the screw actually kind of fall into its previous threads, then start tightening down. If you just stick this in the hole and start tightening it down, it will tighten it, but you might be cutting new threads. And then when you do that, eventually over time, it's gonna strip the hole out quicker. So if you put it in the hole, you're gonna turn it backwards a little ways, keep on going, you're gonna feel it go into its previous threads, tighten it down. You'll know you're in the previous threads if it like tightens down like a regular bolt, where it's real easy in the beginning, and then once it's almost fully tight, you kind of gotta give it a little torque. I've noticed that like on this bike, there's a lot of Phillips hardware. Pretty much, if you can't see the screw or the bolt from like looking around the outside of the bike, if it's kind of tucked away, hidden somewhere, it's Phillips. Again, China. Get all of this to fit. I think the main problem is actually going to be these lower engine rails here. Step one I'm gonna do is actually where it bolts up to the back over here. I'm gonna go ahead and pretty much back that bolt probably almost all the way out. I wanna leave it in there. I was hoping to loosen the top ones, but you can see they conveniently placed a rad hose right in the way. I got this lower bar loose, like right, it's loose. Now notice it's loose, but there's so much tension that it just wants to spring out. It wants to spring off. That's what I experienced, was like when putting the skid plate on, it seemed like these bars were bent out too far. This bar does not fit very good. This bar is the problem. China. This is gonna sound, and this is gonna look very, very redneck. It's gonna sound crazy, but I think we got her nailed. All right, we're gonna start by looking at the skid plate here. See these here, right here, these are the two main holes where they bolt up onto the bars up here, right? These holes, if you can measure them down there, these are about 6 1/4 center to center. So those bolt up to this point and this point right here, right? These two guys here. Now, when I first did all this, I took a measurement just to see what these bars here were settling at. It was like just over 7 inches, about 7 1/8. So, I mean, we were We had to compress this thing over an inch to actually get the skid plate to fit on there correctly. Now, stick with me. It's gonna sound a little redneck, a little crazy. Took a little ratchet strap here, right around this part, and no problemo. So I compressed it, just ratcheted it down. I was getting it down to about 5.5, 5.25-ish. Now you don't want to go crazy because you can really probably overbend these. I ran it down, you know, about 5.5 inches, measuring these each time, and I just pop it loose, and then I'd run it back down, and then I pop it loose, and I kept running it down. I did that about 5 or 6 times. We're just over. We're like 6 5/16 center to center. So that proved it. I think we bent these in a little bit. But that is a lot more manageable than it was before. I think I can get one started, kind of pull it over, and get it on. Funny, they put rubber grommets right here to go against the metal frame up here to try and dampen some vibration noises. And then the front ones here, it's just aluminum straight to metal up here. Like, what is the point of putting the vibration dampening in right here, but then have it solid metal in the back and in the front? All right, I'm gonna put this thing on there. Enough talk. Again, none of this is gonna fit perfect, so I'm gonna go through the whole thing and just kind of hand torque everything. We got that in there, but now that we have these on there, I mean, these ones in the front here are just going in right in by hand. So that is a very, very, very good sign. Does not fit. Kind of see here, I bought all flanged bolts. The flange does not actually fit down in this. There, we got one side done. The bolt down here, I did have to go ahead and use the one that it came with. Luckily though, these are kind of like a better Allen. They're not the button head. So there's actually quite a bit of meat in there for your Allen key to bite down on. I'm gonna just run these because looking at it and take some measurements, this is the only style bolt you're gonna be able to get in that stupid hole. Bending the lower subframe there did make the skid plate go on easy. Like the skid plate went on A-okay, absolutely no problems. Now, as for the rest of the engine guard, none of the stuff, it still doesn't fit, okay? And it has nothing to do with the position of the lower engine guard at all. It's got to do with actually like, these bars are just out of alignment with the frame. However, I am noticing a trend with the old China here, and to no surprise, their quality control is not to the highest. So when one thing is a little out of spec, and then you have another part like the bars here that are a little out of spec, you know, if they're both out of spec, opposite ways just a little bit, well then when you go to put them together, they're out by a lot, and that's what I'm dealing with. This was a nightmare to get on. This was a very like, get a thread of every bolt started before you tighten anything. It really breaks my heart because I absolutely love this bike. This bike is so much fun to ride. This is unacceptable. These are made and sold by CFMOTO for their bike, for their CFMOTO. The fact that the manufacturer's parts don't fit their bike is ridiculous. A large-scale manufacturer to build aftermarket parts for their own bike that blatantly just don't fit is unacceptable. Well, here we are. A couple days later, I've had some time to kind of chill out. I've had some time to kind of cool down, chill out, really think things over. Speaking of cooling down, we got our first snow last night, so that's a little depressing. My final thoughts on the whole situation that we've been dealing with this bike. Bending the lower bars did, in fact, make putting the skid plate on quite easy. The skid plate goes on very easy. It's the upper guards up here that are real troublesome now. You know, before everything was difficult. Now it's just these guys. These are difficult. With that said, luckily now at this point where we are, like I said, the skid plate, very easy to put on and take off. I'm gonna count that as a plus because doing your regular maintenance like an oil change on the bike, taking the skid plate off is kind of necessary. You can get at the filter without taking it off, but it's a lot easier if you can take it off. These upper guards, the only reason you would really have to take these apart would be to, you know, if something's wrong, you have to like get into here. So very rarely will we actually have to take the upper bars off. The skid plate though, those, you know, 4 bolts, I can just zip those out quick. They all line up good. Zip that out, take it off, change oil, put it right back on, and not worry about dabbling with any of the other stuff. So that is a big plus. That's gonna kind of wrap the video up today. You know, maybe the next video we'll take her out in the snow, but like I said, I think we'll save that for the next video. I want to say thank you guys for watching. If you got any comments, questions, concerns, let me know, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Hopefully, where we go test this bad Chad out in some snow. All right, peace out.